sure?
Yes, I couldn't
Okay.
even. Whoa, 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 whoa!
Okay. Hi, my name is Destiny, and today I'm going to be talking about The Duff, which is a book and a movie. If you don't know what The Duff is about, basically it's about this girl named Bianca, who finds out that, okay. The plot is different depending on what you interact with. The movie is what I first interacted with, because for a long time I didn't know it was based off of a book, even though it's in the credits, but I didn't watch it in theaters, so I didn't watch it and be like, oh, let me save for the credits, you know what I mean? But also, if you can see like this rectangle in my glasses, it's because I'm in my basement and the lights don't work down here except for this lamp next to me, so I'm using my laptop screen. So yeah. But basically, okay, I'll tell you about the movie first. So in the movie, this girl named Bianca Piper, basically she doesn't like her neighbor Wesley Rush. He's like a man whore and he sleeps with like every girl, and she just doesn't have very high opinions of him. And basically he tells her that she's the Duff of her friend group. And basically Duff, why do I keep saying basically? Duff stands for designated ugly fat friend. And so like she's like, what? Like, did you call me hideous? Like, why are you calling me these mean names? And he's like, no. Like, it doesn't have to mean that you're actually ugly, but you're just like the least attractive. Like, people might see you as the approachable one that they use to get to your hotter, cooler friends. And so with this in mind, at first she's very hurt, and she's like, you know what? If my friends are using me, then I don't want to be friends with them. So she like basically breaks off her friendship, or she gets into a fight with her friends and they don't talk for a lot of the movie. But she has a crush on this guy, and she doesn't want him to think that she's, a Duff. So basically she recruits the help of Wesley, who is the only one who told her about this, to help her get the guy she likes, named Toby. And so when you watch the Duff movie, like, you can tell it follows more of the teen movie formula. It's definitely different from the book. Like, when I read the book, I was like, okay. I think that the movie definitely follows the formula more, and it shows. And that's not a bad thing. Like, honestly, I enjoyed it. But when I was reading the book is different from the movie in more than one way. One of the big differences is the characters. So I feel like, okay, so in the movie, like, Bianca is like sarcastic, but she's not an unlikable character. Like, you still like her. But in the book, I just felt like I couldn't really, like, you could still see traces of Bianca from the movie. Like, you could tell where she got her character from. But Bianca was definitely more unlikable at times. Like, sometimes I just didn't want to root for her. And Wesley was just, it was different. But see, okay, one big difference is that in the movie, Bianca and Wesley are neighbors. I think I like that more because they have more reason to interact. Like, because if they're in completely different social groups and they weren't like childhood friends and everything like that, like, I feel like that adds a better, like, I feel like it adds nicer background than like this is just some stranger that for being like, I like it more as they were friends when they were little and they're not friends now. Like, I feel like that was better, so I'm glad they added that to the movie. Like, I think that the movie adjusted the book or the story of the book in a couple of ways that I liked. But I also feel like some of the things they didn't really have to take out, but I get why they did because of the type of movie that they're going for. Because if you haven't watched The Duff is like those 90s makeover movies? It's one of those, but like, it knows what it is, so it makes fun of itself too. Like, that's why I like it, besides the fact that I just think it's fun. It's a fun movie. And so the book is kind of fun. Like, it has aspects of those type of movies, but it also has more serious stuff. Like, Bianca's dad is an alcoholic for a good amount of the book because her parents end up getting divorced. In the movie, the divorce has already happened, and we don't know about her dad at all. Like, we don't interact with her dad. She lives with her mom. In the book, she lives with her dad, and her dad used to be an alcoholic, and then once the divorce papers, like, are sent, like, he becomes an alcoholic again, which leads to a lot of Bianca's stress. And one big thing that's in the book that's not in the movie is the reason that Bianca and Wesley interact in the first place. Like, okay, so in the book, this was kind of weird to me. Like, we just jumped straight into it. Like, there was no, like, intro or anything. And I get, like, some books do that. And I'm like, okay, cool. But it's just, like, it throws me off. But, okay, so in the book, how do I say this? Like, ooh. Yeah, my computer's glitching because y'all see when the lighting changed. In the book, the main reason that Bianca initially talks to Wesley is because she uses him as a distraction. Like, she doesn't use him, like, there's no makeover in the book. Like, he doesn't help her. Like, because in the movie, it's like, I'll help you pass chemistry if you help me become, like, less of a duff. Like, if you help me transform, basically. And in the book, it's more like, every time I get upset, you're my booty call, okay? Like, they don't always sleep together, but like, it's just like she'll get angry. Like, the first time that she got angry with him, she was like, I could slap him or I could do something else, and then she just straight kisses him, and I was like, but you hate him, but he's a slore, but you don't like him, but the first instinct physically was to leap up and kiss his mouth. I don't get it. But I think that also the book, The Duff, is like, the book version is definitely a sign of its times. Because I'm pretty sure it came out in like 2015. And so like books during that time, like when I read books, I don't mean to be like, I don't want to say that they're ancient, but it is 2021. So that was 6 years ago. And culturally, there are differences, like the types of jokes you make and stuff like that. Like, I think it follows the teen movie, teen book formula. Just it's outdated. So when they made it, even though the Duff movie is like still old, not old, but it's like, it's still not a new movie, I think it can still apply more now. But it was definitely a lot more generalized. And even though Bianca was like a cynic, she wasn't as much of a cynic as she was in the books. Like, even her best friends were like, yeah, most of the time when I talk, I think you're gonna like yell at me or something. And she's like, what? Am I that mean of a person? They're like, you're just kind of grumpy all the time. And so that's why I said that I think Bianca is a lot more likable in the movie than in the book. Another difference is with Toby, who is the love interest for Bianca before she like falls for Wesley, or realizes that she falls for Wesley. And so in the book, he's like a future politician. He has a bowl cut and he wears blazers all the time. So I imagined him kind of like as Farkle from Girl Meets World, like, and just like he's like very like he has a bowl cut. I don't know, something about that just stuck with me. So I was like, yeah, this makes sense. And he also said he was like scrawny, but he's not like prepubescent, but like he's in high school just like the rest of them, and he's like a genius, and not a genius, but he's very smart. He works very hard. He like applied to Harvard and he got in. And I honestly liked him more in the book than I did in the movie, because in the movie, and I think that was part of the point, like in the movie, Bianca didn't really know him. She just liked the idea of him, you know what I mean? And in the book, that's kind of the case, because there is this part where she's like, well, you know, Toby's different. He's not a weird hipster, and he's not like a super popular jock. He's just him, like unique and everything. So I think that before she knew him, she did like him because she liked the idea of him. But because she actually ends up dating Toby in the book, she doesn't date him in the movie. It's more like he uses her to get closer to her best friends, because like everyone keeps saying, she's the duff, she's the approachable one, she's the one you go to when you want to talk to her hot best friends, you know. So there's that. I think I like him more in the book because he actually has a personality like Toby. Besides that plot point about him using her, like he's like boring, which could be like the point though. Like the point is she doesn't know him, and if that's the case, then like that's the case, because I don't have a problem with Toby in the movie. I mean, I don't like him, but I don't dislike him either. Like, he's a very neutral character for me. I feel like when because in the movie, Bianca basically gets cyberbullied. In the book, that doesn't happen, but it does play a big part in the movie. So when that whole thing happens, then I feel like he should have had more of a reaction, considering he played such a big role in the video. Like, he was the subject of the video because people found out about her crush on him and called her like a stalker and stuff. And poor thing, really. But that whole cyberbullying plot was not necessary to me. But since they changed the plot so much, it also made sense, because the Duff book is super short. It's under 200 pages. Like, it is microscopic, okay? Like, I read it in like maybe an hour and a half max, maybe an hour even, and it could have been like, if you told me that was like this thick, because I read it on my iPad, you told me it was like this thick, I would believe you, because it was just so tiny. It was just so tiny. It was such a short read. But I feel like they did the best they could, because you really can't keep repeating. Like, Bianca just kept kissing him. Like, girl, just stop. Get some dignity. Because you're also talking about, oh, like, I finally figured out. Here's my problem with Bianca in the books. She gives me very much so heavily, I'm not like other girls' vibes. And I get that's kind of the point, but you're also just annoying my spirit. Like, we don't need this. So I think that's why I like the movie better, because Bianca is more likable, like I said, but it's also like the movie has more of a message, like, because in the book it's more like Bianca sad, Bianca kiss Wesley, Bianca with Wesley, Bianca not with Wesley, Bianca with Toby, Bianca still doesn't talk to friends, Bianca not with Toby, Bianca kiss Wesley. The end. You know what I mean? Like, there's not like like in the movie, she definitely had more of like a self-confidence type storyline. Like, was Wes a part of that? Sure, yeah, but he wasn't like, because it was definitely more, it's not that it wasn't a romance, they're both romantic, but I feel like the plot was just better, maybe. I think the whole like, I constantly kiss you to distract, like, it just didn't work for me personally. I don't know. It just, the book was kind of lacking for me. And yeah, so there's that. But also, I just think because I saw the movie first, I just have more of a connection to it. Like, if I had read the book first, then maybe I would like it more, but it didn't really stick with me. Like, it just wasn't really my thing. But yeah, so honestly, I like the movie better, and I never say that because I'm always like the book is better type person, but I think they made the changes they need to make, because that book was not hitting the way it needed to hit. Okay, so yeah, that's all I had to say. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you liked it. If I was a rich girl, na 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 na.